Welcome back to the Fire Burns Within channel. Today saw the release of the brand new Jethro Tull album, the Zealot Gene, and it's on YouTube and it's on streaming platforms, and I've been listening to it all day. I think I've listened to it 4 times in a row because I was at home today doing a bit of work, and I listened to it all day. And on the final listen, I took down some notes and on each song, and I'm going to do this very quick review. So I'm going to do a song by song review of the Zealot Gene. I've listened to it 5 times, I think, today. Yeah, on the 4th time I took some notes, and then I listened to it again straight after. Yeah, just got hooked on the album. It's an amazing album. I'll give you an early spoiler. So anyway, the album is the 22nd Jethro Tull album. I've taken some notes here. So first studio album since jtull.com back in 1999. 23 years. Wow. Such a long time for between studio albums. So anyway, it's a 12-track album. I've got notes for every track. I'm gonna have to be quick on this just to whiz through this, not talk too much. You know me, I love talking. For opening track, Mrs. Tibbetts, interesting song, great tempo, nice keyboard touches. Ian's voice sounds gentle. He doesn't have the early power that he used to have, but what can you expect of a man in his mid-70s? Wish the guitar was a little bit crunchier, a little bit louder. The flute playing is absolutely gorgeous. The progressive keyboard sounds are awesome. The interplay between keyboard and flute is great. There's quite a hard-edged guitar solo towards the end. Great start for the album. Track 2 is called Jacob's Tale, a harmonica-led tune, a quirky, almost fully acoustic tune, of the kind that Ian's a master at, and the melody is sweet on this, and it's quite short as well. It's only just over 2 minutes, so it doesn't outstay its welcome. Track 3 is called Mine is the Mountain. This is a moody and pretty dark themed song. Ian sounding sort of fairly menacing. He's not like aggressive, but he's sounding quite sinister. The song is slow and brooding. There's some great piano and flute interplay. The song picks up pace a touch in the middle, and it then turns quite a little bit more melodic. So it's a welcome change. The proggy section with sort of jabbing flute and guitar is really cool, and then it settles back. This is a really interesting song, Mine is the Mountain. Track 4 is the Zealot Gene, the title track, which was the most recent single. One of the heaviest sounding moments on the album. The riff is really catchy. It's a mid-tempo song. The guitar is more prominent, which is the reason why I like it more, because I like it when the guitar is more prominent, more up front. It makes Jethro Tull sound beefier, and I always preferred the beefier Tull moments in their history, in their discography. The chorus is really catchy on Zealot Gene. I really do like it. Track 5 is Shoshana Sleeping. This was the very first single from the album. I didn't really like it on first listen, and I was sort of subdued in my anticipation, but now I really like it. Playing it a few times over and over has brought the song into its own. I think Ian's hushed tones are very fitting for this song. So the guitar and flute again is very cool, the way they interplay with one another, following the same lines. Really cool. Track 6 is called Sad City Sisters. This was also, I think, the second single released. A Not a huge fan of this one. This song sounds like it was basically a classic acoustic Tull song, something like you would hear from Songs from the Wood. I was so on it as the single, but it's starting to grow on me. The folky vibe is very sort of classic Tull. The accordion is a nice touch, and the melody is quite nice. So it's growing on me slowly. Sad City Sisters. Track 7 is called Barren Beth, Wild Desert John. This track could possibly be my favourite track on the whole album. This track has a classic shuffling riff that reminds me of sort of a slowed down Cross-Eyed Mary's. A little bit slower. Ian's voice is perfect in this song. His tone is great. The flute riff is really catchy, and the guitar that follows the same line is awesome. I really liked Barren Beth, Wild Desert John. Track 8 is called The Betrayal of Joshua Kind. Another great flute and guitar riff to start. A nice little piano motif in this jaunty little tune. There's a lot to enjoy in this tune. Lots of sweet melodic guitar lines. Very cool solo as well. Really enjoyed The Betrayal of Joshua Kind. Track 9 is Where Did Saturday Go? Back to classic acoustic Tull. It's a more morose sounding song. Sounds a little bit like Mother Goose, but without any of the jolly feeling of Mother Goose. Very nostalgic sounding, very whimsical sounding. It's a lovely tune for fans of the classic acoustic Tull to enjoy. Track 10 is 3 Loves 3. More acoustics follow after the last acoustic songs. This time a little bit more jolly, a little bit more smile-inducing. A really smooth and happy-go-lucky acoustic tune, and very beautiful flute melodies at the end. Track 11, the penultimate track, is called In Brief Visitation. It continues on the acoustic theme, so that's 3 acoustic songs in a row. It is a beautiful tune though. The chorus is particularly touching. There's a hint of electric guitar a bit later on in the song, but the song in general remains steadfastly acoustic. I think of all the acoustic sounding numbers, this is probably my favourite. It sounds really melodic. It's really pleasant to listen to. It's very layered. I really enjoy that one. Finally, we reached the final track on the album. It's called The Fisherman of Ephesus. The album ends on a more classic Tull mode. Electric guitars are back, but not hugely heavy sounding. They're sort of more in the background, just to add a little bit of edge to the song. Although the song is mostly pretty gentle, it's not like, it doesn't pick up pace or any kind of heaviness as such. The mid section is the best part of this song. It's got the usual Jethro Tull flair for mixing flute and guitar. It really sounds nice. Jethro Tull fans are gonna love that ending musical motif, which brings the song to almost a sudden close, and it's like suddenly the album is over. There was no drawn out ending like you would expect, but it was just a sudden ending, but it's a great ending to the song. So there we have it, my final thoughts. The 22nd Jethro Tull album, it's slightly surprising, and it's a somewhat resounding success. There's no other way to look at this. A lot of people were worried. I mean, Tull fans, they would have been worried that Ian's singing abilities are not what they used to be. Maybe their creative juices is not flowing as good as the old days. It's been 23 years since the last album. Why suddenly the need to release an album? But it seems like the 2 decades has not hindered Ian in any shape whatsoever. He's delivered a fantastic set of songs. I mean, they're just great songs, acoustic, folky, little bit of rock, quite progressive in nature, always very melodic. Okay, Ian's voice is not what it used to be, no one can say it is. It's much sort of gentler, it's much more sort of easier on the ears, it's sort of more soothing. He can still be slightly urgent if he wants to be, but he can never really push the voice, because I'm sure if he pushes it too much it will sound a little bit awkward. So he does very well with his voice as it is. Musically, the album is just very well played. It's got a lot of depth to it. It's got a lot of layers. The flute playing from Ian is absolutely top notch. The guitar work, I personally wish it could be a little bit more prominent still, a little bit more room in the mix, a little bit more sort of upfront in the soundscapes that they create. Every other instrument is perfectly played. Some nice drum work, some nice clean bass work. Very, very solid album. So my rating for the Zealot Gene is a rock solid 8 out of 10. I don't think Tull fans could expect too much more from Ian and his band at this late stage in their career. I mean, they were pretty much only a touring band nowadays, and when Ian announced the Zealot Gene, I mean, the Tull fans would have been happy, but they would have been, in between thinking, is this going to be good or is it going to be a disaster? But I don't think any Tull fan can be really disappointed in this. This is a real classic Tull, full Tull sounding record. It delivers. It's worthy of having the Jethro Tull name emblazoned on the CD. Okay, that was my review for the Zealot Gene. Really good album. As always, stay tuned.